Good day, ma'am. My name is Diane Ladra, I'm a student from BSM 3A, and I'm here to report and discuss the Chapter 6 of the legal aspects of the tourism public sector. The learning objectives are identify the various government agencies involved in the development and promotion of the tourism industry as well as their functions, describe the relationships of these agencies with one another, explain the possibility of public service as a career in the industry. The topic outline are Department of Tourism, Philippine Tourism Authority, Intramuros Administration, other government agencies, Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Transportation and Communication, Department of Trade and Industry, Board of Investment, Philippine Economic Zone Authority, Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Interior and Local Government, Bureau of Food and Drugs, Bureau of Customs, Philippine Coast Guard, Professional Regulatory Board for Customs Brokers, Nayong Pilipino Foundation, and Tourism Enterprise Zone Authority. In 1973, the Philippine government recognized the need to realign its efforts toward trade promotion and tourism development, leading to the enactment of Prudential Decree No. 189 on May 11, 1973, which established the Department of Tourism. This aimed to make tourism a key driver of national development by attracting international visitors and fostering Filipino appreciation for the country's natural beauty, history, and culture. Department of Tourism. The Department of Tourism, or DOT, was created by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 189. It is the primary policy-making, planning, programming, coordinating administrative entity of the executive branch of government in the development of the tourism industry, both domestic and international. The DOT major functions are supervises all government activities related to tourism, removes travel barriers, simplifies regulations, and ensures hospitable visitor reception, promotes the Philippines internationally and enhances national prestige, reviews tourism projects involving government loans and tax incentives, represents the government and global tourism conference and agreements, accredits travel agents, tour operators, and tour guides, classifies and accredits hotels, resorts, restaurants, and related facilities while ensuring quality standards, and lastly, performs other tourism-related functions as mandated by law. Philippine Tourism Authority. Presidential Decree 564, enacted on October 2, 1974, revised the charter of the Philippine Tourism Authority, or PTA, to strengthen its role in unifying and integrating tourism-related activities of both government and private sectors. The PTA's primary source of income is travel tax collection, which is imposed on departing individuals, including Filipino citizens and permanent resident aliens, as mandated by PD 1183 and in its amendments, with payments processed through the Bureau of Internal Revenue. PTA general powers are implements DOT policies and programs for tourism development, develops selected areas into integrated resort complex, supports private enterprise and tourism projects, operates and maintains essential tourist facilities when private sector investment is lacking, ensures affordable land access for hotel and tourism facility investors, coordinates and assists government and private sector for tourism initiatives for balanced growth. Intramuros Administration. The Intramuros Administration balances development and preservation, often facing pressure from business seeking modernization. However, it remains strict, especially when civil society advocates for heritage conservation. Other government agencies. The National Parks Development Committee, or NPDC, oversees the development of national parks, remaining under the office of the President despite past transfer attempts. The National Historical Institute, or NHI, is responsible for preserving, restoring, and declaring historical sites, leading efforts to educate the public, commemorate the historical events, and maintain cultural heritage. The National Center for Culture and Arts, the NICCA, formulates policies, promotes artistic freedom, and preserves Filipino cultural heritage, while the National Museum, now under the Office of the President, focuses on preserving and exhibiting historical artifacts. The Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation, or PCBC, promotes the country as a tourism and convention destination. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, manages the Philippines International Convention Center. National Economic Development Authority, or NEDA, oversees the country's economic and social development planning, advising the government on policy matters. Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, operates and regulates gambling casinos, gaming pools, and other recreational facilities in the Philippines for a renewable 25-year period. Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Under Section 4 of Executive Order 192 is the primary agency responsible for conserving, managing, and regulating the country's natural resources, ensuring their sustainable use for present and future generations. Its mission is to drive public initiatives in environmental protection through strategic partnerships, policies, programs, and technology for sustainable development. Department of Labor and Employment. Functions of the Department of Labor and Employment: enforcement of labor laws, manpower training and employment policies, legislation for worker welfare, protection of local and overseas workers, regulations of alien employment, wage policies and fair wage structures, safe and humane working conditions, and stable labor relations for economic growth. The Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, is responsible for planning, constructing, and maintaining infrastructure, including highways and flood control, ensuring safety and efficiency. The Department of Transportation and Communication, or DOTC, it oversees the development, regulation, and coordination of transportation and communication networks for reliable and efficient services. The attached agencies of the DOTC regulate various transportation sectors, which is the LTO, oversees vehicle registration and licensing. LTFRB, manage public transport franchises. Marina, regulates the maritime industry. ATO, handles civil aviation operations and airport maintenance. CAB, supervises the economic aspects of air transportation and airline regulations. LRTA, oversees the construction and operation of light rail systems. MRTC, built MRT3 under a 25-year ownership agreement before transferring it to the government. PNR, operates the country's nationwide railroad system independently of the Public Service Commission. Department of Trade and Industry. Under Executive Order 133, the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, functions as the primary agency responsible for coordinating, promoting, and facilitating trade, industry, and investment activities in that country. This mandate remains in effect to support economic growth and business development. Board of Investment. Under the Omnibus Investment Code of 1987, the Board of Investment, or BOI, is tasked with regulating and promoting investments in the Philippines, ensuring a favorable business environment for economic growth. Philippine Economic Zone Authority, or PEZA. Republic Act No. 7916, enacted on July 25, 1994, established the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, or PEZA, to provide fiscal and non-fiscal incentives to economic zone developers, export producers, and its service exporters. PEZA offers ready-to-occupy, world-class, and environmental-friendly locations for foreign investors and economic zones in its parks buildings. The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA. The government's primary agency is responsible for executing the country's foreign policy and maintaining a trusted and effective foreign service. Established on June 23, 1898, when President Emilio Aguinaldo appointed Apolinario Mabini as the first Secretary of Foreign Affairs, the DFA played a crucial role in seeking international recognition of the First Philippine Republic. Department of Interior and Local Government, which assists the President in supervising local governments, advising on policies for public order and safety, implementing relevant laws, and ensuring compliance. Additionally, the DILG supports legislation concerning local governance, law enforcement, and community empowerment. Bureau of Foods and Drugs. The Bureau of Food and Drugs, or BFAD, an attached agency under the Department of Health, is responsible for registering processed foods, drugs, medical devices, cosmetics, and household hazardous products. Establishments involved in their production and distribution must secure a license to operate from BFAD, and consumers should verify its validity, along with a product registration number, to ensure legitimacy. Additionally, receipts must include essential business and details as proof of a legal transaction. Bureau of Customs. The Bureau of Customs, or under Republic Act of 1937, and later amended by Republic Act 9135, is responsible for assessing and collecting lawful revenues, preventing smuggling and fraud, and controlling vessels and aircraft engaged in foreign trade to ensure compliance with tariff and customs law. The Philippine Coast Guard, established under Republic Act of No. 5173 as an attached agency of the Department of Transportation and Communication, is tasked with enforcing maritime laws, ensuring safety of life and property within Philippine waters, and maintaining navigation aids and rescue facilities to promote maritime security and national defense. the Professional Regulatory Board for Customs Brokers. It was established under Republic Act No. 9280 on March 30, 2004 to regulate the customs brokerage profession in the Philippines. This act governs the standardization of customs administration education, the examination and registration of custom brokers, and the supervision and regulation of their practice. 9 Filipino Foundation. The 9 Filipino Foundation, or NPF, created under PD number 37 on November 16, 1972, is a non-stock, non-profit public corporation dedicated to research and development in social sciences, humanities, and related fields. Governed by a board of trustees appointed by the President, the foundation operates in the public interest with an executive secretary managing its affairs. Tourism Enterprises Zone Authority. Under the Tourism Act, the Tourism Enterprise Zone Authority, or TEZA, is responsible for administering tourism zones, regulating tourism enterprises, and granting tax incentives to promote tourism development. And that's all for my reporting. Thank you.